So that being said, again, thank you so much for being here live. I'm so excited to just jump right in. And again, if you're watching the replay, you can press pause on this one and go back and watch day 1. And if you are here live, then let's just dive in. One more little tidbit is that if you are participating and adding in some comments and giving your biggest takeaway at the end of each day in the comments of the Facebook Live, I am having a giveaway at the end. I'm giving away 2 things. One is, excuse me, I'm kind of losing my voice a little bit. One is the $50 gift card to Amazon. And the second one is going to be a surprise, but it is valued at $1,000. So that one's going to be a little surprise, and I will announce both on day 3. So you'll have to bear with me for that. Okay, so let's dive into today's meat and potatoes. Let me share my screen here. Just take me just a second. Here we go. And all right. So day 2 of the magic method, and the second pillar is all about the magical you. So what is the magical you, and how can you create it? How can you use that version of you to get all of the things that you want in your business? I'm going to tell you. If I can figure out how to work my screen. Okay, so the very second pillar is the self-image. So we talked about what the self-image is, what that means yesterday. So again, if you haven't watched that, go back and watch that. But basically, there is kind of this version of you that once you create and then embody, it's like your highest self, right? And we've all sort of heard that kind of like airy-fairy, like, okay, my highest self, great. What does that even mean? Well, today we're really going to break that down and dive into what it looks like and how do you create it and why it's even helpful for you. So first of all, here are a few places that most coaches, most healers, most creatives really kind of, the reason that we get stuck at one setting, right? So again, we talked yesterday about that internal setting, that dial on the thermostat gets sort of set at a certain level, at a certain place, and that is sort of the level of your business that you've been able to create so far, or the level of success that you've been able to have so far. And so there are some reasons and those underlying beliefs that end up kind of keeping us there. So let's just kind of talk a little bit about what those are and why this will help. So imposter syndrome, right? Like I think everybody who has ever tried to do anything out of their comfort zone or anything great in any kind of a way deals with imposter syndrome. Another thing is underpricing. So many coaches, healers, and creatives get stuck underpricing themselves for all the myriad of reasons that come up when we talk about money, right? They get stuck thinking they don't know enough, or they need another certification or another kind of a training before they can actually do any of the things that they want to do. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, but not being clear, not having the clarity of what the vision that they're trying to create is. And this does not have to be I know exactly what it's going to be and how I'm going to get there. That's not the kind of clarity that I'm talking about. Often we don't know at all how we're going to get to where we want to go, but to have that clarity of what it is that we're here to do, our kind of bigger mission in life, what is that? And being clear on what a vision for our life is. Again, staying busy or staying in overwhelm. Oh my goodness, this is a huge one. Both of these are huge. You can be busy all day long, but do you have anything to show for it? Or are you just kind of busily working away with not making the income that you want to make, right? And then again, the overwhelm one, just constantly being in a state of panic, overwhelm, frustration. There's so many things that I have to balance and do every day. These are ways that oftentimes we're keeping ourselves stuck. And then, of course, those unconscious beliefs that money is somehow wrong or bad, or we shouldn't ask for it, or we shouldn't have a lot of it, or we should only have so much of it. All of these things are not living as the magical version of ourselves. It's not embodying the highest version of ourselves. And it is literally ways that coaches, healers, and creatives hit that ceiling time and time and time again. So here is a question that I want you to ask yourself. What type of internal self-image would somebody who already has a business that I want to create, I have similar to mine here. I mean, similar to what you envision, right? Similar to what it is that you want to create. And what does their self-image look like? What type of self-image would they have? Because again, as we talked a little bit about this yesterday, when we learn how to change that internal self-image, which is, recap, who you believe yourself to be and what you believe is actually possible for you, then you automatically start to activate the inner magic that is already there inside of you, right? Like, it is not something that that inner magic is not something that we have to create or find or whatever. It's literally something that we have to remember because it already exists there within you. You already have every single thing that you need to create what you came to this planet to create. And so once you do that, once you are able to kind of tap into those parts of yourself, everything else falls into place. The results come so effortlessly that it feels like magic. That's why I've labeled this the magic method, because it truly, once you kind of click that thing inside of you, that this stuff all starts to fall into place. I'm just going to come over here and check and see if we have any comments yet. Okay, I think we're good. If you have any questions, comments, or need clarity around something, just let me know. So in pretty much every movie, right, all the good ones anyway, all the superhero movies, there's this moment where the hero of the movie kind of realizes their power, right? And they realize, like I've just talked about, that it has always been there. It's always been a part of them. It has always been inside of them. And they just had to kind of tap into it, right? And once they do, oh man, like that's when the movie really takes off. And we all love these movies because we know that we have that same greatness inside of us. That's the reason that we keep going to see these movies, and they're inspiring to us. Excuse me. It is because we inherently know that we have those same qualities, that we have that same, but in our own unique way, greatness, okay? And that you watching this right now, wherever you are, sitting down, if you're driving in your car, if you're hanging out at home on the couch, whatever you're doing, I am talking to you. You have so much power available to you. You can create anything that you want to create. Any business, any amount of success, any amount of money, any amount of impact in this world, it is all available to you, right? It's just about tapping into the self-image of us that could create that. Because if you can look around and see that it could be possible for someone else and go, you know what? She's really amazing. And you're like noticing how amazing whoever this person is, right? This person who has a business maybe similar to what it is that you want to do. If it is possible for them and you can look around and think, yeah, it's possible for her and she could probably do it, but no, it's not possible for me. What? Of course it is. Of course it is. If it's possible for someone else, then it is absolutely possible for you, especially if it feels like something that you are drawn to. That is your soul's way of telling you this is something you are meant to experience or have in your life. If it's something that you feel that soul goal, soul clarity around of wanting, then absolutely you have every single thing that you need to have that. And so it's the same. It is available for you to do. And it's sort of like this version of you that is there, but is kind of like buried beneath some things, buried beneath those first things that we talked about. The imposter syndrome, the overwhelm, the busy, the I'm not good enough. She's in there, right? And there is this version that's already available to you, the charismatic version, the inspirational version, someone who's committed, someone who's confident, someone who never lets anyone outside of her tell her what she can or can't do, or any circumstance in her life make her not follow her dreams. Like, that is not the magical version of you. This is a person who never backs down, right? There's no obstacle out there that could throw her off of her path, because she is so clear and she is so tuned in and tapped into this magical version who is able to create those things. She trusts her path. She trusts the universe. And instead of trying to force it to unfold, she relaxes. She trusts her intuition, right? Like we talked about. These are the ways that you get to where you want to go. And so again, there is this version already inside of you. It is just our job, it's your job, and it's my job as your guide to help you pull that out of you and kind of understand it and uncover it in maybe a way that you never have before. So it's not a fictional person, because I also like to talk about this as kind of like building an alter ego that you can kind of wear as a, like, you know, a shield or a garment, something that you're kind of building. And so at first it kind of feels like maybe it's not really you and like you're playing a part, and it doesn't feel real to who you are, only because you've never shown up in that way before. But if you're drawn to charisma, then you can be charismatic. If you're drawn to influential people and you see them and you're like, wow, I wish I could do that, then you absolutely have that within you. It's just about awakening it. It's about kind of rediscovering different parts of ourselves that have maybe never experienced the daylight before. They've never gotten to come out and play. But that's why I talk about it like it could be, and it could feel like an avatar or an alter ego at first, but make no mistake, this is you. This is you, a different, more magical version of you, but it is you. And then when we are kind of creating this version, right, there's two sides of it. There's, of course, the internal, that is the most, by far, the most important part. But one way to begin to tap into that is also showing up externally as that person that we kind of visualize in our mind. And we're going to actually do an exercise in just a little bit that I'll take you through, where you're going to begin to uncover what this could look like for you. So I have a quote here from one of my very favorite books, and it's called The Magic of Thinking Big. And in the book, he says, never leave home without feeling certain that you look like the kind of person that you want to be. And I love that so much, especially coming from the beauty industry, right? Like I shared yesterday, although this is not about wearing a full face of makeup if that is not the authentic version of you and the person that you want to be. This isn't about dressing, like someone that you are not or that you don't want to be and feeling uncomfortable in your skin, although it may feel a little uncomfortable as you're stepping in kind of to this bigger, higher version of yourself. It's still showing up as the person that you want to be. So this is going to look different for every woman out there. It's not about being a size 2, which you're going to see in a little bit. We're going to talk about that. It's not about losing 25 pounds before you can show up. It's not about any of that. It's only about showing up now as the type of person that you want to be. So what does that look like? So you want to show up now, before all the things, as a woman who already has accomplished what you want. So if you could envision that, and again, just in just a moment, we're going to walk through an actual visualization. I want you to kind of be able to tap into this on another level. But if you can kind of get a glimpse of what this version of you looks like, then you can begin to create her. Over time, it's going to evolve. It's fluid. It's all ever changing. But how can you begin now to start to look and, more importantly, feel like this version of you who could, right? Who could create the business that you want to create. So yes, how would she do her makeup? How would she dress? What would she show up as? And again, like you see, I'm kind of like cash today. Like, it doesn't mean that you have to go out and go to the most expensive shop and dress in all Chanel. And it doesn't mean that at all. So please don't hear me saying that. This is only beginning to start to step into this new version of yourself, to this version of yourself who could create anything. And it doesn't have to be what somebody else's version is. It's your version, right? It's you get to decide this. But it's really about understanding that people are always responding to your energy. They're responding to how you show up, what you look like, what you feel like, right? Like that energy that you give out. And you're going to be able to give out more powerful, more positive energy if you're literally dressing like that version of you. And people are going to begin to show up and react to that, because they react to how you react to yourself. They are just a reflection back to you of how you see yourself, of your own internal self-image. That's it. So if you're showing up and you have your shoulders back and you're confident and, maybe your red lipstick on or not, whatever it is for you, but you're going to show up in a different way than if you have holes in your jeans and, well, let's say sweatpants, because I definitely have holes in my jeans, but on purpose. But if you're just kind of like dressed in pajamas, you're not gonna necessarily feel as confident as if you had kind of stepped into this new version of yourself. Hopefully that is making sense to you. So the point here is that first you have to sort of create, right? You have to create the avatar. That's why I kind of call it that, the alter ego, if you will. But again, it's this version of you. It's not outside of you. It's not something different than you. It is you. So you first have to create that. And we're going to do that in just a moment. And then you have to merge with that version of you who already has what you want. Does that make sense? First you create, then you merge. And that means showing up every single day as that new, highest, most magical version of yourself. So my point here is that whatever that business, that thing that we got clear on yesterday, and hopefully you were able to do yesterday's homework and get a little bit more clarity. Again, that's going to evolve over time as well, but you can create that thing, whatever you wrote down. If it was $1 million business, or you just want to create another $30,000 or whatever, you can create anything that you want to create so quickly that it feels like magic once you learn to tap into and embody, right? This has to be this merging process that happens with the magical version of you. So what does that look like? These are your homework questions to journal on. Maybe you get a really clear picture of that right now. Maybe you already have kind of established in your mind this vision of who it is that you want to be. But how super duper clear and tuned into that are you? I want to know, you need to know, right? How would you feel if you already had created what you want to create? What kinds of things would you say to yourself every single day? Because I promise you, if you already had the business that you want, you would not be saying, how am I going to do this? I'm never going to get there. I suck at sales, or I suck at marketing, or I suck at putting myself out there. No, because guess what? You would have already done those things. So what types of things would you be saying to yourself? What would your life look like? And then again, that external part of it is like, what kind of clothes would you wear? And really, most importantly, what would you believe was possible for you? Again, if you had already gotten there, you would not be questioning yourself all the time. You would not be saying, I can't make this work. You would already believe that it was possible, right? Because it would have, of course it's possible. It's already done. And then again, another external that a lot of people, I think, kind of skip right over, and I have a really in-depth process for, but that's another story. But what does your environment look like? What kind of environment have you created for yourself? Is it really messy and papers everywhere and trash over here, and or is it clean and organized? And does it look like the type of, maybe your office specifically, that of a successful person? And again, this is stuff that can evolve. For me, when I was setting up my own environment, I made sure, that I had a nice desk to work at, but I had a ratty old chair forever. And then finally, again, as this is evolving for myself as well, I was like, the version of me, the highest version of me, does not sit in this ratty old chair. And I don't know if you can see, but now I have my pretty pillow and my pretty pink chair. Can you see it? So again, this is going to look different for everybody, and it can evolve over time. You don't have to rush out and buy all the things, but do you see how this could play a huge role in creating the success that you want to create? Okay. I'm just checking out to see if we have any questions. I think we're good. Okay. So you have to be willing to embody this version of you now, right? You have to do it before you feel ready to do these things. You have to do it before the money shows up. You have to do it before the resources that you need are there. And it's not, again, it's not about overspending or spending money you don't have or any of those things. It's about what's happening internally. It's about how you feel. So, how can you embody the feeling of this magical version of yourself who could create anything that she wanted to create, who, has already done those things? How can you embody that version of yourself right now? Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm missing a slide. Okay. So I do want you to close your eyes in just a moment. I want you to go through, if you are not driving, if you are in a safe place, if you're not watching children, please use your best common sense with this. I just feel like I have to say that just to cover my bases, but I know you're smart. If you're here, you're a smart person, so you already know that, but I just want to say it just in case. But I want to take you through a quick visualization, okay? Because again, if you are showing up as the person that you think that you are, right, based on your past stories and beliefs and the childhood traumas that have come with you into your business, all of that stuff, we carry it with us until we choose to put it down, right? Until we can figure out how to change what's happening up here, which we're going to continue on tomorrow with some really big important things. But instead of showing up as the limited version of ourselves of who we kind of imagine ourselves to be, we need to reimagine that and recreate it into a person that we want to be, into the person that we know, again, just like those superhero movies, we know that we have that within us. So how can we shift this and start showing up as that person now? Again, it starts with getting a really, really clear mental image of what that looks like. So I want to take you through this. So unless you're driving or some other event is happening that you can't do this, I want you to close your eyes right now. Just go through this with me, please. This will really, most people don't do this, okay? Most people don't do the work, but you're here. So show up and just go through this process with me. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to tune into this very moment right here. Get really present. Maybe put your hand on your heart if you want to really sink into whatever this moment is, right? This moment. Not whatever happened this morning, not the chaos that's happening later, but this moment. And I want you to take a really big, just deep breath. And just as you exhale, I want you to push all that stuff away, all the doubts, all the fears, all the things you have to do later. Bring your entire awareness to right here, right now. And as you're sitting there comfortably, sinking down into your chair maybe, or on your couch, I want you to begin to relax your entire body. Maybe take another nice, slow, deep breath. And just turn your attention to your breathing. And I want you to just continue to allow your entire body to just release any tension from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. Just Relax. And as you enjoy that really nice, relaxing feeling, taking this moment for yourself today, I want you to begin to imagine with me for just a moment. I want you to imagine yourself, but in 5 years. How old will you be? If you have kids, how old will they be? Really kind of get this imagery of what your life could look like in 5 years. But I want you to still imagine with me that your business is thriving. Whatever it was that you tuned into, that you want, the goals that you've identified for yourself, you did it. You hit those goals. You're making a huge impact on the world. And it's easy. You attract clients so easily, and they're always the perfect client. And they love to pay you. And the money is there, it's piled up in your account. Your bills are paid easily, and you have money to spend and money to share. Maybe you have charities that you love to give to. All of it, all of the dreams and the goals that you set for yourself, they have happened. You did it. You created it. And you make such an impact in people's lives. And I want you to imagine right now, just wherever you are in 5 years, wherever you see yourself, you kind of you get this message from someone. Maybe it pops up on your phone, maybe it's an email, and it's from a client who worked with you. And she is just absolutely pouring her heart out to you that you completely changed her life. And she's saying, thank you. Thank you for doing what you do and being you. You changed my life. You inspire me. And I wouldn't be where I am without you. How does that feel? Really step into that feeling. And I want you to ask yourself, how did you get there? What did you have to leave behind? Who did you have to become? What does this version of you look like and feel like? Does she feel confident? And really feel what it would feel like for you to be that version of yourself. And when you're done, you can take another deep breath and then feel yourself coming back into your body now, back into the room. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes again. This is what is going to make the biggest difference. It's stepping into that version of yourself and living from that version right now. And you do not have to be perfect or have everything all together to show up and share and be you. There are people out there who need whatever it is that you have, who are going to connect to your specific journey, your life story. They are only going to connect to you. But how are they going to do that if you are not showing up as that version of you right now? If you continue to stay trapped in your fear and your self-doubt and all of the things that don't allow you to step into this next level. The world needs more magical women who are stepping up, right? And sharing what it is that is unique about them, what is unique about you. And you don't have to be size 2 to do it. You don't have to have everything perfect. You really don't have to be anything other than who it is that you are, but it's that highest version. And you can't hustle your way there like we talked about. This is just not possible. Now you already know all of the things that we talked about yesterday, all of those stories that we tell. You can't out hustle that just the same way as you can't out work out enough to make up for just eating, Doritos every single day or whatever it is. You just can't work out enough to outwork out a bad diet, they say, right? The same applies here, but it's all internal. You can't hustle harder than where your internal setting is set. And this is a way that you can start to begin to change the dial on that. And again, it's about tapping into that intuition and trusting your path, trusting that you know the answers for yourself and your business. So many of the coaches and the healers and the creative entrepreneurs that are in the world today, you have all the business information that you need. It's not that you need to learn more about how to run a business, maybe in some situations, but for the most part, you kind of have all of that, right? It's really about that internal trust and trusting your path and trusting that the universe is going to send you exactly what you need always. It's about getting out of your head and getting into your heart. It's about reprogramming all of those parts of ourselves that lie to us on an everyday basis that are not, remember, these are not things we're born with. They are things that are implanted in us, that are programmed into us, that are not the truth. And once you can understand that vision of who it is, that expanded version of you, that's still you, right? But it's kind of this higher version. That is when things start to fall into place. And then we add in the next layer. And this is what we will do tomorrow, is really understand this kind of aligning with the conscious and the subconscious. So stop sharing my screen for a moment. So there is, again, there's the first pillar is all about programming the GPS and figuring out what it is that holds us back. And then today is all about really, really getting this very clear glimpse of the magic that is inside of us, the version of us who can create anything, who has already done those things, right? Getting super dialed in on what that feels like, and then merging with that and embodying that now. And then our third step and our fourth step that we will talk about tomorrow is what is going to bring all of this together and really get you super clear on exactly how this all plays together. And then you're also going to understand what the next step you need to take is going to be. So I will check. Let me check your comments one more time just to see here. Okay, I will pop back in and I will check in on the comments. If you guys have any questions, please just leave it in the comments and I will get back to that. If you need to kind of rewind and go back to that visualization that we did, and maybe even get out a notebook and write down what comes up for you during that session. Maybe you do it again and something else will come through for you. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. This is such a game changer when you can really get that clear visualization of who it is that you are meant to show up as, and then start embodying that version. And I'm going to show you all about that tomorrow. So thank you so much. Have a great, beautiful, magical rest of the day, and I will see you in the group and tomorrow.